Hello, Squirrel Tribe. So listen, today we're going to talk about a few different things. One of those being the attempted assassination of Donald Trump that could have been avoided, literally could have been avoided numerous times, numerous ways that this could have been stopped and nothing would have happened. All right. We're also going to talk about the obvious choice for vice president for Donald Trump that a lot of people are rooting for and hoping for that will be announced today, maybe tomorrow, all the way through Thursday at the RNC, the Republican National Convention that is kicking off today in Milwaukee. And we're also going to talk about technically the Democrat/left push for these DEI hires that cost somebody their life at the Trump rally in Butler, Pennsylvania. The retired fire chief, Cory Comprador, 50-year-old man who lost his life at this rally because of the attempted assassination of Donald Trump. There are a lot of things we're going to talk about today. Let's go ahead and jump into this. So first off, I want to talk about the fact that we've had a couple of videos here so far. The live stream as the assassination attempt, like right after it happened, we went live here and gave as much information as we could at the time. Yesterday I had another video trying to give a little bit more information of exactly what had transpired with the assassination attempt of Donald Trump, with, you know, the naming of the shooter, the location of the shooter, the questionable ways that this was allowed to happen. All right. And it just got even crazier today. So there's been a lot of stuff out on social media and in the news about the whole assassination attempt of Donald Trump on Saturday, July 13th, in Butler, Pennsylvania. And what's very interesting is that we have all realized that this may have been a setup against Donald Trump, not by Donald Trump, as the people in the left would like you to believe. There's a lot of people out there saying Trump orchestrated this himself, which would be the most effed up thing any president or presidential candidate has ever done. And I personally don't believe it, but it does seem like there was some sort of purposeful negative play at hand when it comes to all of this. Listen to this. There have been videos going around of people who are outside of the rally recording the guy. Well, I'm not going to say his name. He's had his 15 minutes of fame. I refuse to say his name again. The only name that matters is Cory Comprador, the innocent man who lost his life. The name of the coward who took the shot does not matter. All right. Y'all know what it is. So we'll go with that. We will only call him the shooter from now on. So the shooter, there are plenty of videos of people outside of the rally, ones who weren't inside the rally, but were outside of it, able to see a little bit, hear some of it, that have video of this man climbing up onto this building. They have videos of police officers being told that there was somebody up on this building that, you know, should not be there. At no point in time should a civilian be climbing up on a building. They saw a gun, all these other things, right? So this article came out on Yahoo News today. This was updated just about 30 minutes ago. Former President Donald Trump said in an interview that he's supposed to be dead after an assassination attempt left him bloodied in the ear at a campaign rally in Pennsylvania on Saturday, which we talked about in yesterday's video. If you saw it, he turned his head at the very last second. If that man had not turned his head while he was talking, that bullet would have pierced his temple and we would no longer have Donald Trump as alive, like not even as a potential candidate for presidency. He would not be alive, and that would be absolutely horrific, right? Now, what is crazy is that, let's see, authorities identified the gunman, blah, 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 TMC. We'll just give him initials. We're not doing anything else. 20-year-old from Pennsylvania, lived about 45 minutes away from where the rally took place. Now, where is the rest of this? The part that I want you guys to hear is the most important part, in my personal opinion, because it tells you exactly what happened. Hold on. Sorry about the pause. Yahoo likes to update articles, and then I lost everything that I wanted to tell you guys. So I found the original part here. So a local police officer saw the gunman on the rooftop during former President Trump's Pennsylvania rally on Saturday, but was unable to engage him. All right, that's BS. We'll just go ahead and put that out there, and you'll see why in just a second. That's absolute BS. According to this, this is according to Butler County Sheriff Michael T. Sloop. Sloop said that Butler Township officers received calls about a suspicious person outside the perimeter of the rally and went looking to find that person. The initial calls did not indicate the suspicious person had a gun. Okay, that's what they're saying. During the search for the suspicious person, officers within the township police discovered the gunman was on the roof. All right. And one local officer hoisted another up to the ledge. The shooter turned around, saw the officer peering over, and pointed his gun at him. The officer let go of the ledge to take cover and save his own life. The gunman then started firing from the rooftop. Trump, who says he was shot in the ear, was rushed off stage with blood on his face. Let me be the first one to explain something to you real quick. In order for this 20-year-old lunatic to have been set up to take this shot at Donald Trump, it's not just quickly turn around and go. It's you have to set up. You guys saw the Secret Service snipers over on the other rooftop. You have a setup. You have to be in position. You have to be trained. You have to be aiming. There's a lot of work that goes into it. So you're not going to turn your entire gun setup around to point it at whoever's coming up the ledge behind you and immediately turn back around and start firing. There was time in between where that police officer could have done his job and gotten back up there and stopped something. Stopped what happened, stopped the death of Corey. You know, I hate to say this is like a, what is it? Was it Texas? Uvalde, the high school, the school situation. This is like that, like a 2.0 version of that, where the police had time and feared for their own lives instead. Listen, if you're going to be a police officer, you have to know that you are putting your life on the back and everybody else's lives in front of you. This police officer who let go of the ledge and didn't bother to go back up there, in my personal opinion, should be looked at. And people may not agree with it, but you took an oath to protect and serve. And what happened there was neither. And that is my opinion. And you're free to disagree with it. Now, I will say that I'm glad this information is coming out, that they are talking about it. They're not trying to just, cover it up, brush it under the rug or whatever, that they are letting us know that there was basically a breakdown of protection for Donald Trump. I mean, none of it made sense from the beginning, and we're fully aware of that. There's going to be more that comes out, in my opinion, that's going to show the willful neglect of safety at this whole event, which we can see. I mean, just sitting out here looking in, we can see it. They just have to admit it. They have to come out and say, you're right. Everybody here in the world that's looking at this, you're right. We dropped the ball. We messed up. Now, another reason that may be is because I don't know if you guys saw this. I'm going to see if I can pull up this link here. No, not that one. Not that one. Hold on, y'all. Work with me. This one here. So I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Officer Tatum. I was scrolling on YouTube and I came across one of his videos, and his video here, it shows, I'm going to show you this, and hopefully he won't mind that I'm sharing a little bit of his stuff, but I'm going to show you this. And the reason I'm showing you this is the detail that was put on Donald Trump, the Social Security, the special, come on now. My brain, when I start going too fast, my brain is moving, my mouth can't catch up, or vice versa. Secret Service, there we go. The Secret Service agents that were there to protect him. There were two women, I know you guys saw this, two women that were on his detail that were there to protect him. And it felt like their very first day owning a gun, number one, being part of anything like this, number two, and like they weren't even trying to really do their job adequately. Let's see if I can get this to play real fast. I don't know if you'll be able to hear it because I don't have the volume. Let me turn the volume up. Let's see if you guys can see this. You see them, the two women, they seem so lost and confused, like they don't know what they're doing. She can't even reholster. Like, really? That's awful. That is who you have protecting the future president of the United States? Make that make sense, because it doesn't. And the problem here is a lot of people are in jobs right now in stuff like this, whether it's police officers, whether it is Secret Service, whether it is airplane pilots, whether it is teachers, whatever, it doesn't really matter. There have been a lot of people who have been placed in these jobs because of the whole push for DEI, the diversity, equality, inclusion. Diversity, equality, inclusion. I think that's what DEI stands for. It should stand for something that has to be with dumb, whatever. But I feel like these women, nothing against women in positions of power like this or positions of safety, because women can do very many things that men can do. Okay. The women are amazing. My shirt today is actually "Women belong where decisions are made." That's what the back of the shirt says. But anyway, these women were not fit for this role, plain and simple. Out of every woman that applied to be part of the Secret Service, or every woman that was part of the Secret Service and could be put on detail for safety, you gave Donald Trump those two? No, I don't understand. Now, it could be because, again, you had Kamala Harris and Joe Biden also in Pennsylvania. Maybe most of this Secret Service detail was sent off to those two. Maybe some of it with Biden in Rehoboth Beach, Delaware, where, he was kicking back, eating ice cream while his wife did the circuit for him. But either way, you would think they would give him people who clearly knew what they were doing or didn't look like deer in headlights when something kicked off. But that's just my random thought on that. And I just wanted to share that with you guys because I thought it was absolutely idiotic. Now, the other thing I want to talk to you about is we have the RNC, the Republican National Convention, kicking off today in Milwaukee. And I think I've got the... let's see, here is from USA Today. They gave like a timeline of what's going on. And what I think is absolutely crazy is that the live coverage starts at 10 p.m. My brain, the first thing I thought of was Biden could never. Like, that is so far past his bedtime that hopefully the DNC starts around supper, like around 5 or 6 p.m., because that's the only way that man is going to make it through any of it. But according to this, C-SPAN, CBS, NBC News, ABC, Fox, and CNN, MSNBC, they're all going to be live streaming a lot of this. Let's see. Fox News will air coverage during its regular primetime lineup of shows and will broadcast a nightly 1-hour special starting at 10 p.m. Then you have ABC News will have live coverage from 10 to 11 all 4 days on its main broadcast network. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. NBC News will broadcast Decision 2024 live during the same time it streams the program from 10 p.m. to 11 p.m. first 2 nights of the convention, 9 to 11 the final 2 nights. But what is interesting to me is that CNN will air coverage at 2 p.m. today. 2 p.m. today, about 30 minutes away from right now, for me right now. And they will have, when Trump is expected to be formally nominated via a roll call, the network will then have a combination of coverage and analysis each night from 8 p.m. to midnight, anchored by Jake Tapper and Anderson Cooper. Now, with it saying Trump to be formally nominated via a roll call, I'm curious if that's going to be, Trump gets to come out and talk at that point. I don't know. I don't recall watching the RNC 4 years ago. 4 years ago, honestly, was before I really was more open-eyed on what is going on in our country and in our world. Like, COVID really opened my eyes to a lot of stuff. So I didn't really pay attention to the RNC or the DNC last year. This year, though, I'm going to be glued to it because I want to see what's happening. I do know that Trump has said that because of what happened Saturday at the rally in Butler, Pennsylvania, that it has changed his speech for the RNC drastically. There will be new things that will be talked about, and he's made a lot of changes to his speech because tonight or today is the day he is expected to be not nominated or put on the ballot as your Republican presidential nominee, right, for 2024. And I know he's going to have a speech at some point. And I was thinking about the fact that he has so many options for a vice president, right? There's been a lot of people talking. They're talking about Tim Scott, the senator from South Carolina, Trump described as fierce and great in a recent TV appearance. They're talking about Doug Burgum, the governor of North Dakota, less name recognition, right, than the others, but has one favor thanks to his economic focus and fundraising prowess. I do know that Doug Burgum also has a lot on his plate right now with that train derailment that he had in North Dakota just a couple of days ago. A lot of issues there. There was explosions. It was like a nice little East Palestine, Ohio 2.0 kind of thing from, remember February 3rd, 2023 last year. And hopefully he's going to take better care of that than Mike DeWine, governor of Ohio, did, because that was just a whole shit show over there. We've also got Marco Rubio as an option, Florida's senior senator and a former presidential hopeful. If he appears on the ticket, Rubio is expected to help draw some of the Hispanic voters to cast their ballots for Trump, which is what Biden has been going for lately, obviously, with the allowing of all of the illegal immigrants in so that he can get some, illegal votes, if you want to be fully honest about it. And then we also have J.D. Vance out of Ohio, senator out of Ohio, corporate lawyer and tech venture capitalist. He's held his office for less than 2 years, but has been rising in the Republican Party ranks since publishing his Rust Belt coming-of-age memoir, Hillbilly Elegy, in 2016. Now, another one that's not on here and happens to be my personal favorite from what I have learned of all of the candidates and what I have seen, that's going to be Byron Donalds. And I know a lot of you will understand why, but Byron Donalds and Donald Trump now have something very significant in common. And I want to play you just a little clip of this video if I can get this. This is actually from my husband's channel, Kevin247, but I want to show you this little clip. Hopefully, like I said, you can hear this because this to me is extremely powerful in the way not only that Byron Donalds speaks, but what he speaks about and what I think he would be for our country as a vice president and possible future presidential nominee in 2028. So let me hit play here and you guys can watch this.
Typically, Republicans don't go into, and you have real conversations. There's going to be pushback. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Look, man, when I was 16 years old, I was held at back gunpoint. When you're staring down the barrel of a pistol, a lot of stuff just doesn't really matter anymore. And for me, I just go out and do my job. I'm going to speak my mind. I'm going to speak my piece. You can agree. You cannot agree. The only thing I ask is that you respect me because I'm going to respect you. Adversity, I'm not worried about that. And I think that too many people in politics are worried about some clip or some hot take, so they're timid and they won't engage on tough issues. But if we're going to get our country on track, we got to have people willing to engage in tough issues, because that's the only way you're going to find some common ground to actually get things done.
Do you feel like there's a lot of...
I agree with that completely. So what he had to say there, hopefully if you guys couldn't hear it very well, since I don't really edit much, hopefully you could hear it. If not, the words were across the screen, you could read it. But I will say that what Byron Donalds had to say there was profound. You know, he's saying that you may not agree with the way he sees things, but it's not going to change the way he sees things. He wants what's right to be right. He wants people to have respect for each other. There's too much going on where people want to talk over each other and they don't want to listen. That you can't have a conversation if you can't both get your sides out. You can't learn and grow if you don't hear both sides of a story. I keep calling it a cassette tape, part A and part B, like the front and the back, or, you know, part A and part B of a CD or something like that. If you're only paying attention to part A and you never get part B, you're not getting the full story. You need to have both sides to really understand where people are coming from, where they're going. You have to be able to have these open conversations with respect for one another. Whether you like each other or agree with each other or not, you still need to afford people the respect to hear what they have to say and to say things in a non-confrontational way when having certain conversations, especially in politics, right? And I believe that Byron Donalds is that kind of guy. He's going to listen to you. He's going to hear what you have to say, take it in, understand it, and he's going to give his rebuttal or his approval or however it goes, right? So I pulled up ByronDonalds.com because I was curious about a couple different things. Oh, actually, first, let me pull this one up, donalds.house.gov. So I was interested in his thoughts after seeing the fact that he was held up at gunpoint at 16, and after what has happened with Trump, you would think that possibly there would be a switch, that maybe he would want to say that, you know, gun rights, we need to have more gun control, and maybe he's not really fully on a 2A agenda, like he's not with it, like he's against it. Having a gun put in your face can change the way you feel about gun ownership. So I checked this out. Congressman Byron Donalds, according to him, the Second Amendment, this is his words. As a member of Congress, I swore an oath to uphold and defend the Constitution. And by doing so, that means it is my duty and obligation to protect all areas of our treasured founding document. Contrary to what some of my colleagues in Congress believe, that does not mean I get to pick and choose which amendments and what rights are worth defending. The Second Amendment, your right as an American to bear arms, is equally as important as the entirety of the Bill of Rights. I have proudly stood against misguided gun control legislation that infringes upon your rights throughout my public service career. As your representative, you can rely on me to defend your constitutional rights to keep and bear arms. My viewpoint on the Second Amendment is simple. Shall not be infringed means shall not be infringed. Now, this is him, you know, speaking as the Southwest Florida District 19 representative, but it goes for how he feels, and that is exactly how he would feel as a vice president. So he is for the Constitution, for upholding the Constitution. And I think that is something that is extremely important to know and to hear. I don't know how many other vice president candidates speak about it with upholding the entirety of the Constitution, but I like the fact that Byron Donalds upholds 2A, like he understands the importance of it and isn't trying to dilute it like some politicians are. So the other thing I wanted to read to you guys from Byron Donalds has to do with healthcare. Healthcare is a huge issue right now. We have so many places that can't get nurses, can't get doctors, can't do any of these things because of the politics of healthcare. And as people get older, you need doctors more and more. As Social Security is, you know, ebb and flow, and Medicare is kind of, you need to be able to trust in healthcare. So Byron Donalds, according to him, this is on his personal website, byrondonalds.com. It says here, a true limited federal government would not impose unaffordable and unconstitutional healthcare insurance schemes on the American people. With the best medical practices and medicine in the entire world, the United States should assure to have the world's best healthcare. In Congress, I will work to pass affordable and constitutional healthcare that the American people deserve. Obamacare is a thinly veiled attempt at a government takeover of the health insurance delivery system, ultimately leading to a single-payer socialist system. In order to lower costs in the healthcare market, we must provide healthcare tax benefits and incentives to individuals, all while removing the current tax treatments from businesses. Our federal government must also use the Commerce Clause as fully intended by opening up the purchase of health insurance across state lines. State reciprocity, that's a hard one. State reciprocity allows for citizens to seek their own doctors and care, allowing the free market to thrive and work as intended. This one action of legalizing state reciprocity would greatly reduce the problem of uninsurability with pre-existing conditions and would lower costs tremendously. These reforms in the healthcare industry would center on empowering consumers and patients, all while driving down excessive costs and reducing bureaucratic red tape. As somebody who had to change her insurance when moving from one state to another, I don't hate what he had to say. I am not a fan of the insurance I have. I would much rather go back to what I had before. So I like what he has to say about healthcare. I do think that it's become so politicized and so for profit that it's hurting the people who actually need healthcare. So hopefully, again, we're going to find out very soon who Donald Trump is going to pick. It does say here that he held meetings with 4 top contenders. One of them was not Byron Donalds, and that does make me sad because I'm very hopeful for him. J.D. Vance, Marco Rubio, Doug Burgum, Tim Scott. I'm sure they're all great picks. I know a lot of people like Tim Scott. I'm not a huge fan of J.D. Vance only because I have a bad taste in my mouth for the government of Ohio after what happened with the East Palestine, Ohio incident, but I'm sure he's great. And then Marco Rubio and Doug Burgum, I don't know how that'll work with Marco Rubio being in Florida, but technically so is Byron Donalds. That might be a kicker, for both of them off of the ballot. And then Doug Burgum, he's been hit or miss with a lot of people that have commented regarding him after I talked about the train derailment there in North Dakota. He's been hit or miss with a lot of people on if he's worth a damn or not. You know what I mean? So I'm very curious your thoughts on this. Out of the 4 that Trump most likely will end up picking, who would you back the most? Would it be Tim Scott? Would it be Doug Burgum, Marco Rubio, J.D. Vance? Or are you hoping that this is all like a smoke and mirrors and he's going to throw Byron Donalds in and you're going to have Donalds and Donald or Donald technically is Donald and Trump and Donalds, but it's still funnier the other way, as like the power team, because I think that would be great. They have things that they have a lot in common, and I think it would be a great team personally between the two. Now, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to let you know I'm done with this. I'm going to put in the pinned comment of today's video, I'm going to be adding a link in the pinned comment to a video about Corey, the 50-year-old retired fire chief who lost his life protecting the lives of his wife and daughter at the Trump rally in Butler, Pennsylvania on Saturday, July 13th. So people will remember his name. He is the one we should be talking about, not the coward who took his life. So I want to put a link in there. It's to an ABC video. It gives a lot of background on him. And I think people should know who he was as a man because he was great. He's what that police officer should have been. He is somebody who put his life on the line to protect others around him for the majority of his life. And he died protecting his family. And I think that makes him an absolutely amazing man. And I want him to be seen by more. So I'm going to put that in the pinned comment. I would love, again, your thoughts on everything here today. And I'm going to be paying attention to the RNC later. And hopefully you are too. And we'll have another conversation about that tomorrow. Listen, Squirrel Tribe, I love y'all. Have a fabulous rest of your day. See you later. Bye.